now, before we bring Tone up here, Dave Hyde next hour, 4:30. I got to say this. Pope Roseman, thank you very much for the contents today. I have to tell you, I have to appreciate it because you are wonderful. And Big Sills is the king of content. Thank you for signing a guy who has no right being on the Philadelphia Eagle team. And now I know for a fact that Nick Sirianni has no say in the team. Thank you so much for all your help. Thank you for the content today. We now go to Tone. Thank you very much. Tone? Are those tears?
Man, I don't know what's going on, Sills. Look, we're 5-1. I don't know. 5-1.
No, dude. Hell,
we're 5-1. I don't know, man.
22
I don't know.
Too. You want to go there too? Hey,
22-2, 5-1. Whatever you want to slice.
Hey,
man.
land there. You're right. Hey, when in doubt, land on 5-1. You
when
can't
in doubt,
go wrong.
When in doubt, break glass. 5-1.
Right. As long as you can land on that pad, all is good in the world. Right.
Oh man. Julio. All right, look. All right. All jokes aside, I look at it. I'll try to take this seriously. So you signed Julio. You signed Julio Jones, right? Yet you're struggling to get the ball to Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. I'm trying to understand the path to this decision. Now, look, does he help more than he hurt? I don't know. But I just didn't think the issue was the receivers or the guys that catch the ball. I didn't think that was the issue. If anything, I would have liked, you could have got another running back. I wouldn't have been mad, or a safety, or maybe he's gearing up.
Tight end.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But it's just, Julio. I know there was a rumor about them trying to get him last season, but that didn't work out.
Yep.
But you got him this year. Hopefully he's healthy. I don't understand the argument that he helps in the red zone, because you have AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert. I'm not understanding how he all of a sudden makes the red zone game better. The Eagles' problem has not been personnel. It's been play calling, situational play calling, red zone efficiency. Where does Julio Jones fit in with that?
You think they signed him because he dropped those passes last week?
If they did that, that would be embarrassing. If they did that, that's sad. I don't think so. I don't
either. No, I'm trying to come up with why they did this.
If I'm being honest, I think they did that because Quez is going on IR, but they just put him on IR, and I also think they did that because they got the Miami Dolphins this week, and they want to make sure they got enough bullets in the gun. But again, they have a hard time loading the damn gun, so I don't understand how you try to get all the bullets when you don't even know how to load it. I don't know.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what, you're going into a gunfight with a lot of chambers empty here with this thing. Did you buy into what I said in the first hour of the program when I said it's about the designs on the play routes? When you look at the designing of the way Mike McDaniel designs those offensive routes for Jalen Waddle and for Tyreek Hill, dude, when you watch those guys run down the field, you don't know where the ball's going. When you watch the design plays, you can have quality targets versus non-quality targets. And when you see his targets, he's always wide open. And they use the other guys more as kind of like a distraction, or kind of like, people that are going to be out there where you keep your focus over here on this side. Well, teams are losing that now, Tone. That's why the Jets coaches knew what was coming when they were looking at the way he was looking people down. I think it's got a lot to do with the play design.
Here's the thing, right? They claim the playbook hasn't changed. Okay, so if the playbook hasn't changed, what's changed, right? What's changed is the person calling the plays and putting certain people in position to succeed versus others. That's what's changed. Brian Johnson, for some reason, he doesn't know how to get these guys involved. I don't understand. I could probably call better plays playing Madden. Seriously.
So adding another guy helps that?
That's the part that makes me scratch my head. I'm trying to understand from a talent perspective. Yeah, in theory, Julio Jones helps you, right? In theory. But when you pay attention to what's been going on over the past several weeks, the problem hasn't been talent. it's what's being called. It's how you're utilizing the guys that you have. You know, I said this a couple weeks ago, man. The routes they got, a matter of fact, you had me on last week when we talked about this. The routes they got Dallas Goedert running sucks.
Yeah.
The routes they got DeVonta Smith running sucks. You know
Watch how many times they're in double coverage compared to when AJ's not.
It's ridiculous. I don't understand it. You know, it's you try to pinpoint the issue, but the common denominator keeps coming back to the offensive coordinator.
How about this? How do you think the offense has looked since that little? People don't like the word blow up, so I'll use conversation in week 2 on the sidelines. How do you think that has looked, the offense, since that week 2 conversation between AJ and Hurts?
The first two games after that conversation, you clearly saw them being intentional about getting AJ Brown the ball. You clearly saw it, right? But I think it settled down after that. And you saw the targets becoming more spread out. It's hard for me to just flat out say that conversation with AJ Brown significantly hurt the offense, because I'm seeing what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a guy who keeps going to AJ Brown in bunches. And that's the problem. It's not like
why is that a problem? Why is that a problem? I want to know, because I want to get how you're thinking, why that's a problem.
That's a problem because, especially in a series, it makes it predictable. And at that point, if you're again, when you look at that Jets game, you look at the targets, you'll say, oh, AJ Brown had the third amount of targets. You know, Smith had 11, Swift had 10, AJ Brown had 9, Goddard had 8. So when you think about that in theory, when you see it on paper, you'll say, oh, okay, they shared the ball. But when you actually watch the game, you saw them drowning Brown in targets, and then they'll go away from him, and then they'll drown him again in targets. It's like, again, there's no flow to this thing. They're not stringing things together. And that's why it looks like they're really force feeding one guy, because only one guy is able to really optimize his situation. Whereas the other guys, they're making them run these dummy routes, and it's hurting them. There's no creativity. There's no efficiency. There's no flow. And AJ Brown is the only one right now able to work through that.
Has DeAndre Swift helped the passing game, in your opinion, or hurt?
No, he hasn't helped it at all. He hasn't helped it. I know people would like to think that it has, but when you really pay attention to it, I think in that first series, in the Jets game, I think they threw the ball to Swift like 3 or 4 times, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, I understand a lot of people wanted, and I was one of them. You know, we should have a running back that we can throw the ball to a little bit more, right? But when you really think about how it's affected the offense this year, you're taking quality targets, quality opportunities away from Dallas Goedert, who is a more explosive player, in my opinion. DeVonta Smith, you know, you're taking targets away from him because you're trying to force feed the running back, right? Let's be totally honest. DeAndre Swift, his best moments wasn't catching the ball. His best moments was when he was running the ball out the backfield. So that's where, in my opinion, he's better utilized in this current situation. But I look at Brian Johnson and I look at Nick Sirianni like, you got too many weapons on this team for you guys to just keep trying to force feed AJ Brown in bunches in certain spots. It's not a good look, and it makes the offense predictable. And I feel like Swift ultimately in the passing game has taken opportunities away from Smith and Goddard. People like to point at Brown, but it's really Swift. That's where the targets are going, because Miles Sanders last year, he didn't get the ball thrown to him at all. So where do those targets go? They go to Goddard and they go to Smith. You throw Swift in there, now you're throwing the ball to the running back way more. Where do the targets go? Goddard lost targets. DeVonta Smith lost targets. That's the issue right there, not A.J. Brown's targets. Because A.J. Brown's pretty much getting the same amount of targets as he did last year.
How about Brian Johnson coming out in the press conference today, and I'm paraphrasing it, saying that he was happy with the pass-to-run differential in that Jets game and that they thought that they were on track. I mean, Tone, come on, man.
Don't lie.
How in your right mind do you think 45 passes? That's not that kid. That's not him.
It's not him.
You're making Jalen Hurts look worse.
It's not him. It's not him. Did you know, I said this earlier on Sports Take, did you know that Jalen Hurts over the past 2 seasons, last game was the most attempts he's thrown in a single game. 40.
I didn't know that.
Over the past 2 seasons, 2022 and including this year. Over the past, so 17 plus the playoffs, so that's 20 games plus this year, 20 over the past 26 games, I believe, or 20. Yeah, over the past 2 seasons, let's put it that way. Jalen Hurts has thrown the most amount of times in that Jets game, 45 times. And then on top of this, let me put it in perspective. In 2022, through 6 games, Jalen Hurts had 184 pass attempts through 6 games last year. In 2023, through 6 games, he has 213 attempts. That is a 29 target disparity. That's a whole game for some quarterbacks. You got him throwing the ball.
Carries does he have?
How many less carries? Ooh, that's a good question.
Like from a year from.
I got to dig into that.
Hey, let's work on that number because I guarantee you that number's down significantly, and that's where the carries have gone to Swift. And I would say this right there in a nutshell. You know what the problem with those numbers are, Tone? The problem is you're going to high turnover potential. And here's the difference. Swift putting the ball on the carpet. Hurts is not doing that. Jalen Hurts has 8 turnovers. Throwing the ball more. And people will go, well, some of those weren't his. Well, it's the play calling, the wide receiver designs. It's the high. Hey, a tip pass is on the offense, not on the quarterback. It's on the offense because you're throwing, get this, Tone, you're throwing more potential turnover plays when you do something like that compared to what you did a year ago because you're trying to get other people involved. You're putting DeAndre Swift in a position that has hampered Devontae Smith. And just the way, if you watch any one of the films, look at the turnovers, man. The turnovers this year are key.
You asked me a question, right, about the rushes through the first 6 games. So in 2023, through the first 6 games, this season, through Jalen Hurts' first 6 games, he's ran the ball 63 times. In 2022, through his first 6 games, he's ran the ball 77 times. So that's a 15 rush attempt disparity.
That's a game.
That's a game for him. So you've literally replaced, you've taken out the 15 attempts that he would have gave you for an additional 29 pass attempts. And look what it's amounted to. It's amounted to 8 turnovers. That tells you right there.
Right there.
He's passing the ball too much. He's getting away from his game. The numbers don't lie.
And they're doing it more at a clip per week.
Exactly. They're getting away from his strength and they're trying to turn him into something he's not. And look, again, it's a 6-game sample size. But at this point in the season, I expected a lot more from this offense. I'm being honest.
How about this though, man? You say a 6-game sample size. In the last 7 games he's played, he's had 9 turnovers.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're turning the ball over at a pretty good clip right now.
Right.
Because you're asking him to throw the ball more.
I'm looking at this situation, and I don't like where it's trending because now it's changing the narrative around Jalen Hurts, and now he's looking like a quarterback that's inefficient. When in reality, he is very efficient. You don't go from only throwing 6 picks in a whole season last year, and now you have 7 picks through your first 6 games, and we're not even halfway done.
If your coordinators change the entire way you approach the game.
Bingo. And that's where I was going with it. It's not.
How about this,
It's not a talent issue.
Watch this. They haven't changed the playbook. They changed the approach.
Yep, they changed their approach and they changed the touch. You know what I mean? Like you said, the approach. The approach is a better word. They've changed the approach to how they want to get this thing done. And I'm looking at Brian Johnson. And he better figure it out fast because this game against Miami is going to tell us a lot about where he really is. We can talk about these previous matchups and really dig deep into that. But this is the game where I'm really measuring you on. So we're going to see how this thing pans out. But like I said before, 77 attempts in 2022 through 6 games, and in 6 games this year. Only 63 attempts I'm sorry, that's a 14 carry disparity.
How about this? Is the yards different?
Let me add that up now. So through 6 games this year, he has 253 rushing yards. So hold that number in your head. I'm about to add this up. I'm about to add this up right now. 253 this season. I'm about to add it up now. So 90 versus the Lions, 57 versus the Vikings, 20 versus Washington, 38 versus Jacksonville, 61 versus Arizona, 27 versus Dallas. 293 rushing yards last season through 6 games compared to 253. 40 yards. That's a game.
That's a game.
That's a game for him.
That's what Dak had last night.
That's what Dak had last night.
And that 40 yards got the Cowboys a touchdown. You see, it's different for a running back. When a running back has 100 yards versus a quarterback having 40 yards, the 40 yards is most likely when you're going for first downs. The 40 yards for a running back could just be dead numbers. But those were, you see, Hurts' numbers are all significant. His attempts, his completions, his rushing, all of those yards. Like I said a couple months ago, Kirk Cousins puts up gigantic numbers, but are they significant numbers? Hurts' numbers last year were more significant than Kirk Cousins' numbers because they impacted 15 wins, okay, or 14 wins. When to me, that's that when you see your quarterback is trending to 20 turnovers, 20 INTs,
you got to dial it back, right? You got to see. You have to see that though, right? And like,
I think you got to feel it.
Yeah, you got to feel that. It's like you got to throughout the game, right? Okay, when Jalen Hurts threw those first 2 picks, right, and in the Jets game, you didn't say to yourself, okay, I have to dial this back. I have to do something different that that puts him in a position to commit less turnovers. You say it all the time, right? What made Jalen Hurts special last year was that he limited turnover-worthy plays. This year, they have way more. He could have threw more interceptions in that Jets game if you pay attention.
Do you understand that tip pass is exactly what I'm talking about, a high turnover play? People go like this. Well, that's not on Hurts. That's not the point. It's on the approach, okay? And it falls on him. And is he to blame? It's not the point. The point is the Eagle offensive coaches are taking the same game plan, and what they're doing is they're philosophically changing their approach by saying, we want more pass plays. And what they're doing is they're trying to recreate this guy. And, people are going like this. They are rushing the process of his development.
Absolutely.
They are, you know what? And I'm going to tell you, he's a victim of his own success. And I'm going to tell you why Jalen Hurts is a victim of his own success. Because he went from here, 2021, to he's catapulted to here. Well, the Eagles were under the notion he was going to have that second gigantic growth spurt.
It's not how it works.
He was going to be over here. So you know what they did? They decided to rush the process by saying, we're going to throw the ball more. Instead of doing it in slow increments. Look at how they developed Brady. Brady didn't throw the ball down the field until he got to Tampa. He was a check down, check down, check down, check down, check down. And when they had Moss, that's when they went deep. That was 13 years into his career. But the entire time they were doing this, incremental, kick a field goal, win a Super Bowl. Incremental, kick a field goal, win a Super Bowl. Brady's getting better. Let's start airing it out more. Double tight end set with Aaron Hernandez and with Gronk. All of a sudden, we're creating more. Get the guy in the slot with Welker and Edelman and all those guys. They brought him along in increments. They missed a step in here. They're force feeding him.
Yeah, man, that's a great way to put it. And I know the low hanging fruit is to be like Jalen Hurts has regressed, all that kind of stuff. And I know the numbers dictate that he's, a turnover machine over the past several weeks. But the reality is, when I look at the way Shane Steichen handled Hurts and the positions he put him in, Hurts looked so efficient, looked so comfortable. he looks like he's second guessing back there. And that's not a Jalen Hurts you want. You want a Jalen Hurts who's playing the game instinctually.
I like what Steve-O said here. Is the front office making them change the plays because they paid him and expect more?
You know what? I hate, you know what, Steve-O, that's a very good question. But I hate that notion, right? That not the point that he's making, but I hate that a front office would even think like that. You know what I mean? Like it's
but I think they are thinking like that.
Right.
How about this?
I wouldn't be surprised.
How about this? In my opinion, they don't feel they're going to get the value of Jalen Hurts 2022 at $50 million. They'd rather have him throw the ball more and look like the rest of the dudes. So they get this. They feel they're getting more value.
Here's my thing, right? You get your value in the win column, not in the stat sheet.
But they didn't do that with Doug.
It's ridiculous. You don't get value in the stat sheet. You pay for wins.
But this is why you see Julio Jones parachuted in out of nowhere.
You don't pay for 5,000-yard seasons. Like this isn't bad. This is not the NBA where you pay a guy for 30 points a game, right? That's what you pay for in the NBA. You pay for stats. You pay for guys who ever produce like that. In the NFL, you're paying for wins. That's what you want. If Jalen Hurts was a career 3,000, 3,500 yard a year passer, and he won 12, 13, 14 games every season and got your Super Bowl, who gives a damn how many yards he throws for? Who cares? That's not even his style. He cares more about. We even talked about it last year, right? Remember in game one, you said what stood out the most to me about Jalen Hurts was that he doesn't give a damn about his stats. He cares about winning. He'll rather throw the ball away.
And I agree.
Take a loss of yardage. That's in him. But this coaching staff, to me, and you also brought up another point too, how there are some coordinators who care more about getting the win. There are some coordinators who care more about their scheme and all the work they put in throughout the week. They want to be the smartest guy in the room and say, oh, I drew this up, I put this work in, and in the film room, drawing this stuff up. We're going to use it. Come hell or high water. Fuck that. I'm sorry. Excuse my language. You got to get the win. That's where I'm at.
How about this? They're overcooking this.
They're overcooking it like hell.
They're overcooking the coaches. They're overcooking the process. They're overcooking his development. They're stunting his development right now. You know what it reminds me of? It just reminds me of what they're not doing in Chicago for Justin Fields. And that it's like there's all these different types. Justin Fields, I hope he gets out of Chicago and gets with a coach like Kyle Shanahan or somebody or something like that, that could potentially, maybe we could see what this kid could actually do or be. Because in Chicago, he's not going to be developed up there. He's just not. And with Jalen, what you're seeing is there's too many voices in the room, man. You got a general manager and you got personnel people. I mean, Tone, honestly, I'm going to go back to one thing here. So did Nick Sirianni did he go to Howie and say, we need another wideout? Or did Brian Johnson? Or did these guys just wake up in the morning and Julio Jones was an Eagle and Howie called him and told him he was an Eagle? Because if that's the way you're running the team, it's either one or the other. Okay? Yeah. They're not working in unison. Hey, what do you think of us? You think Howie called down to Sirianni and said, hey, what do you think of us signing Julio Jones? What do you think he's going to say? Because what's the one thing you say about Nick? He knows how to know the room. Nick's going to go like this. If Howie's recommending it or he's suggesting it, Howie's already done it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's if I had to really put my money on it, I wouldn't be surprised. Real quick, let me address something real quick, right? LJ, you're funny, man. He says, I'm trying to manufacture concern. What you fail to realize, LG, or LJ, whatever your name is, my man.
Doesn't matter.
The reality is this, right? I eat, breathe, and sleep this Philadelphia Eagles team. I live for this. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm so locked in. I care so much about this team. This ain't manufactured concern, my brother. I look at it like this. I don't know what you're seeing, but I look at it like this coaching staff doesn't know what they're doing.
Most Eagle fans that have a great passion for what they don't want. You see, again, Tone, remember this, man. Most people in here, they want to see what they want to hear. And so what that means is if they see something, they're going to make it any way they want it to sound.
Exactly.
And they're not going to look at the reality of it because most of the fans are delusional thinking that, hey, we're 5-1. There's no doubt. But this is beyond 5-1.
This is
I'm
beyond
talking about
5-1.
winning a freaking Lombardi trophy, not 22-2. That's your problem.
Exactly.
You hang on that 22-2, and it ain't shit.
Exactly.
The Lombardi trophy is what it's about.
Exactly. And, the way I look at it is this. That loss to the Jets, okay, people lose to bad teams all the time, right? That's not my concern. My concern is the coaching staff and what they're doing with this roster. This offense is probably a top 5, top 3 most talented offense in the NFL in terms of personnel.
Absolutely.
But if you look at the way Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni have allowed this team to go over these past several weeks, they're underperforming. It's underwhelming. I'm not going to be one of those Eagles fans that lie. I'm not going to be one of those Eagles fans that pretend that I'm not concerned. I'm worried about this coaching staff. I'm not worried about Hurts. Hurts going to figure it out. I'm worried about this coaching staff and the position that they're putting the guys in. There's no freaking way Dallas Goedert should be as ineffective as he is. There's no way Devontae Smith should be as ineffective as he looks. It doesn't make sense, and y'all know it don't make sense. So stop pretending and trying to cover for these coaches. Stop.
How about
Just
this?
Stop. It's all good. Yeah,
if you or
your Eagles card is not going to be turned in because you call your coach out. We all see it every week. When you home in your living room with your homies, watching the game with your pizza and your cheesesteak. When you home, you know damn well what I'm talking about. You scream at the TV talking about, Nick, what the hell are you doing? Brian, what the hell are you doing? But when you come on here, you switch it to them because they got the dub. Get the hell out of here.
Hey,
call a spade and keep it real.
Hey, man, if they put you or me in a Ferrari in the Grand Prix of Monaco, we're going to underperform because we don't know what we're doing.
Keep it real.
And get this, the Eagles are Ferraris. You got librarians. No, you know what? I'm sorry, Sean Desai, because I don't mean that for you. Okay? I don't mean again, I'll tell you this. The incompetence on offense makes me love what this guy's doing on defense even more. I mean, hey, sometimes when there's a bag of shit over here and you got flowers over here, they smell better, don't they, man? Because you know what's going up over here, man.
Yo, Sills, they said some of them saying I'm in my feelings, right? But they be in the same live chat, airing you out when you say something bad about the Eagles. I'm in my feelings. Come on, man. We gotta keep it a buck, man. Come on. How many jerseys y'all got in y'all closet? Keep it real. But I'm being emotional. Are y'all serious? I'm emotional because I'm trying to win the big one. I'm trying to win the Lombardi. I'm not satisfied with 22-1 like some of y'all is. I'm gonna keep it.
Hey, look at my boy Quan, man. He's all over the signing of Julio Jones. Way to go, Quan. How you doing, man? Like Belichick would win 6 more Super Bowls with Art. He would, man. I tell you what, Belichick to the Chargers might win some Super Bowls out there, man.
Why they keep talking about 5-1, Sills?
Because that's who you guys are.
This is the big picture.
Yeah, but Tone, no. That's who you guys are. I've learned this about Eagle fans. That's who you are.
Come on, man. Listen,
that's why I do this. 22-2 now, 5-1.
Yo,
what's it mean? Nothing. But to everyone, you hang your hat. You can't hang your hat on that, man.
No, I love all of them.
But get this. But that's what you say when I ask you the question. Hey, how's it been the last 30 years with Jeffrey Lurie? And you're like, underwhelming. I'm like, well, fuck, what does 22-2 mean then? With no Lombardi trophy. Is it that underwhelming too?
And look, right, when it comes to the live chat, I'm gonna be clear. I love y'all for because y'all make this show. Y'all truly make this show entertaining. You guys really, feed that fire in me. So
absolutely.
I really appreciate you guys, man, because I'll be honest, when I'm behind the scenes pushing buttons, I'm calm, I'm relaxed. But sometimes I read what y'all saying, and I'm like, y'all gas me up, man. So I really appreciate y'all, like truly. But like some of y'all, are we not trying to win the Lombardi? Are we not trying to win the big one?
They think they are, though, with this, what's going on. And see, get this. How could Jason Kelce be so upset? And he's so upset on the sidelines, and he's 5-1. By the way, I'll give this to you, and I've got my top 10 NFL teams. Do I think any lesser? Tone is 100% right. McClain's tweet about Julio signing said more to come. I wonder what that's about. Hey, Let me say this to you. Do I have any different thought process of the 49ers and the Eagles after their loss to the Jets and the Browns? No. I mean, no. So you're going to take a Jets loss with all those injuries, and you're going to see all the injuries at the Niners, and you're going to go like this. Well, I think lesser of the Niners than I do. I don't think any lesser of them today than I did going into the game or coming out of the game.
You know what, Sills? I'll say this, right? When it comes to like, all the stats we talk about, when it comes to like the 5-1, right, and the 22-2 and all that kind of stuff, I use that stuff when I'm debating with Cowboys fans, right? I use that stuff when I'm debating, with the other fan bases. That's when I use that stuff, right? All the stuff that a lot of Eagles fans like love to bring up. I use that stuff when I'm debating other people about their team. But when I'm looking in the mirror, when I'm looking at the Philadelphia Eagles in a vacuum, just them by themselves, I'm comparing them to them. You dig what I'm saying? I'm not comparing them to the other teams. I'm comparing them to them. And so far, they have not lived up to what we thought they would be on offense. That's the humble reality. Forget the other teams. I only talk about them. I only use 5-1 and 22-2 when I'm talking about the Cowboys. But other than that, when I'm talking about us, when I'm focused on my own crib, when I'm focused on my house, I'm worried about trying to make sure this thing stay clean, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think this Julio Jones move exposes Sirianni for his control in that locker room?
Man, oh man. I'll say this, right?
You better not putt on this one on me. You putted on the Tua and Hurts thing yesterday.
Ask me again.
You're not running for mayor of Philly. You're not doing that, all right?
Ask me again. Go ahead.
All right. Do you think this move by adding Julio Jones to the active roster, when you know you need a safety and maybe some more personnel somewhere else, do you think this exposes Sirianni's authority on that football team? Damn. Damn. It's a long putt, Tone. It's a long putt.
You know what? I'll say
you
this.
Better not, man. You punted on me yesterday.
You know what? I'm looking at Nick a little sideways.
I'm looking at him sideways. That line over there, man, on Broad Street. Come on. How dare you, man? I thought I taught you better than this, man. Come on now. You can't walk a sidewalk.
Kwan? You see Kwan's like, don't do it.
Sidewalk. Don't do it.
Don't take the bait.
Don't take the bait. What bait? Your Honor, I'm leading the witness.
Oh my God, man. Yo, I love y'all, man. You guys are great. Truly. This is a fun show, man. I really appreciate it.
I'm leading the witness. Okay, I got another one for you. If you were going to start your passing game, would you do it with Hurts or Tua?
Hey, don't do that. I see what you did there. Don't do that. I'm a Hurts guy, and I'm sticking to that.
You're supposed to be Nick Castellanos here, man. You're supposed to be swinging for the fences.
I am swinging. You know what? Jalen Hurts all day, baby. Lock me in.
Hey, man, that's a passion comment. That
sure is.
That ain't a thinking out All right.
Sure enough.
Holy cow. I've got a new mayor candidate for the city of Philadelphia. His name is Tone DeShields, and he just balked on me, man. Holy cow. Man.
Jalen Hurts for vice president.
Do you think Nick Sirianni's authority is now in question because there's a personnel decision he had nothing to do with? It makes me look at him different. You're perfect for Washington, D.C.
Hey, listen, man. I'm still an Eagles fan. I can't jump off the roof now.
Oh, I'm not. No. I'm just asking you about your boy Sirianni. You know what me and Angelo have been saying about this guy is true.
I'll give you this.
I'll give you one thing you're right on him.
Right.
If Howie called down and said, "Hey, what do you think of us signing Julio Jones?" Nick's gonna go like this. I see you, Death Row. Thank you. What do you think of us signing Julio? Nick is going to go back and go like this. Hey, I think it's a good idea because he knows how to navigate through that where Doug didn't.
Right.
But see, that compromises your authority with your players because the players will go like this. Why are we signing this guy?
I guess I look at it like this, right?
How do you look at it?
Sirianni knows how to play the game. But
at the expense of the team.
To your point, I will always be a Doug guy. I will always be a Doug guy.
Oh, that put the stamp on it. That's all I needed to know.
I will always be a Doug guy.
Can we not see past this dude was a free agent signing? We didn't give him anything for him. We added depth. Hang on for a second. Wait a second, Christopher. It's the roster spot, dude, at a position that I didn't know you were struggling at.
Man, you know.
I thought you were happy with the kid from Atlanta. I loved what he did in the last. I liked the blocking down the field. I thought he made a couple good catches too.
Yeah, and look, let me make this clear, right? I don't want Nick fired. I don't want Brian Johnson fired. I don't want that. I just think they need to go back to the drawing board and change their approach. Like we keep talking about this. Like it's an approach they're doing. It's their approach. You know what I'm saying? Nothing has really changed. It's their approach. If they could change their approach and just stop and get out of their own way and stop overcooking it, then we'll be okay. It's their approach. This offense, they move the ball between the 20s, but the red zone, they get stuck, right? So it's not the playbook. It's their approach. It's how they're using guys. They need to just go back to the drawing board and go back to the drawing board and realize what made them great. I don't want to fire anybody. I'm not there. They're 5-1 still. Relax. Like they're not. I don't want to fire anybody, but I'm just not happy with the way they're handling Jalen Hurts. And look, I thought y'all would be on my side. They're making Jalen Hurts look crazy out here. I thought the chat would be rocking with me. Sills, they got Jalen Hurts 7 for 7, turnover like TDs and picks. I'm trying to protect Jalen. I'm trying to put Jalen in a position to succeed, my brothers. But guess what, man? Y'all care more about your coaching staff than your quarterbacks.
No, you can't tell the truth.
Come on, man.
Hey, Mayor DeShields, you were spectacular today. I can't thank you enough. I mean, I should be calling you Senator DeShields, man. I mean, holy cow. Of all the people I would have talked to, man, I wouldn't have thought that I'd be going like this. Congressman DeShields, you were wonderful today.
I like the sound of that.
Congressman DeShields and how he's trying to navigate like Nick Sirianni through the waters, even though deep down he's a Doug guy. You must hate yourself at night sometimes.
Oh, man. Tone DeShields of 2024.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Tone, great stuff, brother.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you, man. It was fun.
You got it, man. That's my friend Tone DeShields, man. Absolutely. All right, we're going to have Dave Hyde jump on with us from the Florida Sun Sentinel. That'll be at the bottom of the hour here. Hey, by the way, don't forget our great friends at Hooters. It's the 40th anniversary. Hey, all the way from Rhode Island to Jersey to King of Prussia. All 7 of the locations, go to northeasthooters.com to find all the great events that we have coming up. I mean, I talked to Gary, the president of operations today for the longest of time, and we had such a great conversation, all the great events that are going on. We invite you to go in. If you want to use the app, do that, hooterstogo.com. Also, our specials in the 40th anniversary, they just had their party the other day. Buy 10 wings, get 10 boneless free. Wing Wednesdays, 1983, the year the place was founded by Ed Drotsky and Bob Passwater and Denise Williams. Fantastic folks that started all of this 40 years ago. 1983, as I said, all you can eat. Kids eat for free on Saturdays. Northeasthooters.com. That's northeasthooters.com. Do me a favor. Anytime you walk into any one of the locations, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.